Yesterday on location, and I thought, please, dear Lord, please. No. It's coming straight back down again. You guys are killing me, Larry.
So, if you'd like to each introduce yourselves to Grant, and then Grant can sort of let you know where he left off, or Nolan left off in season 1, and we'll go from there. You have to think.
Until they call rolling on my shot. I think we've got about 10-15 at least.
Great.
All right.
I'm Andrew from The Gate. Nice to meet you again.
Hi, Melissa from the Televixen.
Hello.
Hi, Greg from TV Guide.
Greg.
Hello, Sue from the Mind Reels.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we want to know? Anyone? Bueller?
Aren't you going to refresh where you left off?
Yeah.
I'm going to refresh where we left off at the end of season
You
1.
were shot. You just.
God, what did I do that for?
Yeah.
Where did we leave in one? Well, I died, but that didn't work. That's kind of my character, isn't it? You know, like you can't even kill him; he won't listen to you. You're dead. No. I don't think so. You're really, really dead. No, I'm not feeling it. Not gonna die. No. So yeah, left off. He died, came back to life. Obviously, you know, he knows something has gone on because he should be dead. And he's had this kind of half-visiony idea of what's happened. He sees, when we see as an audience Orissa leap into the abyss, he sees that too. At the same moment he comes back. So my guy wakes up at the end, right after cut on the end of season 1. My guy wakes up and he knows that she's done something, but he doesn't know what. He knows she's made some kind of a pact with something, and that's why he's alive. But he's not sure if she's alive or dead. He's not sure what it was, what's happened to her, where she is, and she's disappeared. So I'm actually about to shoot some webisodes next week, which will fill us in as an audience on the interwebs in between season 1 and season 2. So season 2 is a bit of a time jump. We come into Defiance.
Is it 8 months?
About 8 months, 8-9 months. You know the time it takes to conceive and gestate a lunatic. That's what I always say. When a season goes like that distance, it's like it's about the right length of time. So we come back about 8 months later, and obviously things are vastly different. The Earth Republic has moved in. Not Colonel Marsh. And by the way, when I was a kid, there was a toothpaste commercial, and it always had this character, Colonel Marsh, in it. And I've never been able to take Colonel Marsh seriously because he was a character in a toothpaste commercial in Australia when I was a kid. But anyway, oh no, it was Mrs. Marsh. That's right, Mrs. Marsh. It was all about toothpaste. So whenever I saw Colonel Marsh, I'd always be like, oh, I've brushed my teeth, I really have. So anyway, yeah, we come back in. The Earth Republic have moved in, and it's a different Defiance. In essence, season 2, I think, season 1, Orissa and Nolan are our window characters into the world of Defiance, and we're learning all about the place and the town, the world, what's happened to the world, what the mythology is in this world. And of course, the threat, if you like, is this kind of right-seated from the beginning, is this idea that for some reason Defiance has become of particular interest to much larger forces. So when we start season 2, we've already had the Volge attack and we've already had the Earth Republic move in. So the fact that Defiance is of interest to others is a fait accompli, we know that. So season 2 is very much about exploring all of these characters now. We've introduced the series, we've seen everybody. Season 2 gets much more personal. We explore the relationships between all of the characters much more. It was very kind of Nolan, Orissa, Amanda central, season 1. Season 2 has been pulled out a lot more, and we get to know everybody. The rug has been pulled out from each and every character. No one character, and I think I can say this safely, yes, no one character has been left between season 1 and season 2 in the position they were in at the end of season 1. Every single character has had the rug pulled out from them in one way or another. They may have gone up or they may have gone down, but nobody is in the same place. So that's been interesting. And the journey of season 2 is a much more personal affair. If you like, control of Defiance has which was very much the pull of season 1. Who's going to politically control Defiance? Has in a sense been ceded to much greater and more personal issues. Let's say there's still the macro level, end game, season event that happens throughout the season, and obviously that follows through from season 1, where Orisa launches herself into the abyss and makes a deal with the Kaziri. That hasn't played out yet, so we have to play that through, and that's our big overreaching arc, if you like, for season 2. So my guy goes off into the Badlands to find the kid, and with all the intention in the world of heading to Antarctica. Because, after he's given up his badge and the people of Defiance have rejected him, and, the town's been taken over, he's died. He's really done Defiance.
Yeah.
What are we going to hang around for?
Get back on our way.
I think we opened season 2 with, Nolan and, at the very least anyway, I'll only speak for him, of really having no desire or intent to head back to Defiance. It's been there, done that scenario. And he's not the kind of guy to go back and redo things. That's a very middle class idea. I'll go do some therapy and I'll just try and make this relationship work. Because I think in essence, we really have the bones of something good here. Nolan's kind of like, will I shoot you or will I just walk out the door? And so he's not an introspective dude. What else can I tell you? What else?
Bounty hunters chasing you all this season?
We have seeded in the first season and in the game that there are interests pursuing Nolan, and in the game in particular, they steal the Libera Nova gem off Varys. Their past misdeeds come back to haunt them. So yes, we do follow that through, that storyline for both of the game and the first season of the show and the pilot, where we had that seeded in. We actually learn, in terms of personal history, and I'm talking a little bit out of turn now, but I don't care. We actually explore the personal histories a lot more of some of the other characters. In terms of Nolan, I think we're almost up to speed in a sense. And what we're not up to speed with in season 2, we'll actually get up to speed with in the webisodes. There's a lot of backstory that'll come up that's Nolan's in the webisodes. So we go much more into Amanda's backstory, Daytak and Starmer's backstory, Doc Yule. We explore a lot more, and such a wonderful character, Doc Yule. And I'm really, really happy to report that there's a lot more of the Doc in season 2, and I love that because I think Atron has done a phenomenal job with a character that's really a cue ball.
Yeah.
And that's a good acting feat. You get that kind of prosthetic where all you have is a set of eyes and a mouth. You got to be a really good actor, and she does a phenomenal job. Doc Yule gets a lot more play. Daytak and Starmer's dynamic is just phenomenal this season. It really gets a lot of time and energy, and is wonderful to watch. It's 10 times more visceral than it was last season. It's wonderful. Like I say, Amanda's character we really go into her backstory, and we really see a lot more there. The kids get explored a lot more. Christy and Alak and Jesse and Nicole have been given a lot more, and have done an amazing job with what they've been given. So it is much more of a full cast picture, much more of an ensemble piece, season 2, and yeah, it's been amazing to watch. The writers have kind of dug in and fleshed out all of these characters' stories and especially the dynamics between them. Because I think one of the strengths of the show, probably the biggest strength of the show, is the strength of the dynamics between characters. Yeah. That Daytak and Starmer could go on forever, and you'd sit there going, "Who's going to win?" And they're the type of for me, they're like the alien version of my grandparents. Because my grandparents, I remember, they used to sit, and God rest their souls, they were wonderful people, but they would sit diagonally opposite in the living room, and argue about who was sicker. And the argument never ended. I think my grandfather died first, so he won. And then my grandmother spent the rest of her life, God bless her, convincing us that she was still sicker than him. That's how I picture Datak and Starmer in 50 years' time. Datak and Starmer is one of those great dynamics, those great relationships that never wears out, never wears thin. We introduced 2 new characters. We introduced Pottinger, who is the new mayor of Defiance, the E-Rep mayor, played by Jim Murray, who I've got to say, when I first saw Jim, I thought they were replacing me. Jim Cabot is like 6'1", blue eyes. I'm like, oh, I didn't get the memo. Do I have to share my role? And Jim has just turned out to be a treat. He has developed this incredible character out of a role that could be quite, I'm the mayor, I'm the visitor. This guy is a freak. He is so... anyway, I'll leave Jim to tell you all of that. But the character is amazing and is nothing like what he seems. The character you meet at the beginning of season 2 has nothing to do with the reality that sits underneath. And that's a big journey for Pottinger, for Amanda, and for many of the other characters in the show. The unrolling of who Pottinger is a big thing. We introduced Viceroy Mikado, who is the new power in the E-Rep and has been an absolute privilege for us to have on board. And then we introduced Captain Berlin Rainier, played by Anna Hopkins, who is kind of another one of the younger ones, like in terms of our cast, and Anna's just a force to be reckoned with. I was actually, I was doing a heap of stunt work with Anna, probably over the last 2 blocks, and she's amazing. She was just like, we're doing all this stuff together, and she was ahead of me, and I was like, hey, slow down, you're making me look bad. So take it easy on an old man, will you? So no, she's been fantastic. She's jumped in with both boots and has come up with something really, really cool too. So the new characters have added a lot. We explore our existing cast a great deal, and we really kind of open the door on each and every one of those relationships. Doc Yule, like I say, becomes much more fleshed out, and we understand exactly where she's coming from, which again is nothing like what we thought. So the Datak Starmer thing, there's a really intriguing kind of dynamic that goes on between Amanda and Pottinger. Viceroy Mikado is a bag of tricks, we find out in about episode 8 that we had no idea. Actually, there are things that Viceroy Mikado brings into Defiance that I didn't know were in Defiance. Let's just say that. There are places and rooms and people in Defiance I didn't know were in Defiance. So Viceroy Mikado comes with a full Sanders kit, all of his own. And of course we head towards, what we should, which is as the season goes along and we get everybody fleshed back out and we've truly explored all of this cast. The overwhelming and undeniable and indisputable threat to all becomes obvious again, and we get drawn inexorably towards that kind of great battle between the forces of good, or in my case, stupid, and evil.
Wow, so not much has changed then.
No. Although I got to say, my guy, it's funny because they keep wanting to evolve my guy, and I keep going, why are we evolving? Oh no, don't evolve him, please. He's learning and growing. I think interestingly, the relationship between Arissa and Nolan. God, I can't believe I didn't talk about this. It moves this season, and it's really interesting. It's been uncomfortable for Steph and I to act. Wow. It changes, and it's produced a whole lot of feelings in both of us. There was a period of the first half of the season that I actually felt kind of really, I wasn't liking doing the stuff together, and it was because the relationship had shifted. And then in this last few episodes, the relationship changes, and it's funny because I swear, that actress Stephanie Leonidas is somehow my kid, and I am somehow her dad, and it's really, really weird. but yeah, the relationship's changed, and Arissa has changed, and you know, that little girl and father, or teenage girl and father relationship is moved on, and there's a lot of stuff in that relationship in this season. Yeah,
That was one of my favorite relationships.
yeah, and it's if anything, it's more powerful, but it's a lot more with understanding of each other now. It's a lot more grounded. It's a lot more based in, you know, that point you get to where you see your parent, you know that they're human, they're fallible, and they're
Yeah.
just another human being. And that point with a child where you realize that you can't protect them from themselves any longer. So it's a very, very different relationship, but very powerful. And the process is, it's really, really strong. So, cool. Anything else I can tell you?
How far into the season are you at this point?
Right this second, I'm
Yeah.
shooting 13.
Wow,
Oh,
okay.
wow, okay.
So it's almost,
I can tell you.
That
See,
was
I'm
it.
talking from experience.
Well, I figured, yeah, you were talking about
Yeah.
stuff that obviously you've been through,
Yeah,
so wow.
yeah. That's 13 out there now.
So what's been like getting these scripts? I mean, you just described a whole lot of stuff that's been going on. So what's been like getting these scripts every week and reading not only what's been happening with Nolan, but with everybody else as well?
A lot of it's educational. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, whoa, really? You know, that's your backstory.
Yeah.
and it is a journey. I mean, you know, one thing. How many minutes now? All right.
There you go.
One thing as an actor is, you know, I like to not know.
Mhm.
So I like it to be a surprise. I like them taking me on the ride because then it's a roller coaster. And I have a thing as an audience where I don't want to know.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be surprised. Well, in Australia, when I was younger, they asked me to host a reality show called The Mole, and I did it.
Yes.
Well, and the exec producers always used to say to me, "Do you want to know who it is?" And I go, "No, I want to figure it out." So the wonderful thing about, you know, acting in a television series is every week when you get every time you do a read through and you get that new script, you go, "Oh, I had no idea." I love that, and I'm very attached to it. This season, a lot of the character journeys have really surprised me, but the shape that the show has taken has been a much fuller, kind of much more robust one. And I think that above everything else has been A, the wonderful surprise, and B, the kind of a journey for all of us.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, thanks.
thank you
man.
so much.
All right, guys. Behave yourselves in here.
Very good.
So do I want to run back? I know where it is and